Welcome, SunSpotter. Are you ready for relevant news, reports, information, and a splash of entertaining ideas based on real estate? You have arrived in a great space. Here is C. Chambers, licensed real estate sales and content creator, helping you with the keys to open doors of new opportunities. And now, let's go get them, C.
Hey, Sun Spotters, greetings. I'm going to go over this market pulse by OLR, and this one in particular is for Queens. Now, I'm going to run this also into Brooklyn and have an article at the end that basically kind of clarifies what's going on with the rent in New York City. There's a rent burden article that's out there in my source is CRE. But let's get into what we have right here available. Now remember, the listing price is not necessarily the set in stone price, like the one that you'll actually pay. Let's say it's something that's competitive, to keep that inventory competing on the market, right? So the average listed rent in Queens for June 2025, $4,109, and the median listed rent is $3,820. And we're going to go over what's around the 668 new listings that's out there. 668. Okay, the rental inventory is 1,530. A little lower than what it was last month. Okay, was 1603. Rent drops, very key. 876 rent drops. Perfect time for you right now, especially if we can get some good negotiations, maybe some OPs. Why? Because people do have rental properties, and they've used it as an investment. Maybe to have a second income. Maybe they are just real estate investors, and the market is all over the place right now in a way. And also they want to make sure that the renters are qualified enough to get into these apartments. So the rent drops, something to look at. 876 out of the 1530 that's available. Taking up the market, 259, almost 300. All right, 556 were rented out, $66 per square rent. Let's go into one of the highest choices are the 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. Once you start getting the 3 bedrooms and higher, it starts to run down considerably. Studio is another one that's kind of low. People like the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. So let's go there. For 1 bedroom, $3,768. Average, medium is $3,804. Okay. 341 new 1 bedroom listings. 433 rent drops on those listings out of 755 in rental inventory, which was a slight drop from last month, 771. 124 have been taken off the market. All right, just to show you what's going on there. Let's go to the 2 bedroom. A lot of people are looking for 2 bedrooms in Queens, specifically 3 bedroom. Let me move myself out the way. Okay. The average listed rent, $4,940. Average median rent, $4,725. All right, slight dip from last month, $4,943. Okay, so it's basically the average listed rent is similar to last month's median listed rent. So I'm going to see, look, out of 427 rental inventory, 166 new listings for 2 bedrooms in Queens, and a rent drop. 290 units had a rent drop. So these are around the 300 mark. The other one was 800 and change. There's something in the water, and from what I've understand going on with the mortgage rates, as well as in sales, a lot of places have been dropping their prices because they know that this is not a competition anymore. This is more of how can I make my unit, my property stick out and defeat the days on the market. That's what you want to do. You want to defeat the days on the market and bring as many offers as possible. If you come to a listing appointment, our brokerage will cover that with you and make sure that you don't have any buyer's remorse or seller's remorse. We want to make sure you get more bang for your buck. And the rent drops are leverage points for you to start negotiations and come up with a number that is mutually beneficial for all parties. That's what we want to do. Okay? And like I said, 427 total inventory, 166 new listings, 290 rent drops, 82 two-bedrooms taken off the market. 126 of those were rented. All right? Let's go into Brooklyn, if we can. And these are just, just to keep you informed, so you know what the climate is. You can also know how, whatever your allotted budget is, how you can maneuver and compete. Maybe you're in Manhattan and want to move to Queens, and now you see how things are different. Maybe you're in Brooklyn and you want to know, well, maybe it's a time to buy, or maybe I'm coming from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom, downsizing, and what's available around, what's my price point. There's a lot of factors to consider depending on your lifestyle and where you are, or what your journey, where you want it to be. Okay. All right. All sizes we get to. Listed rent $4,714 is the average listed rent in Brooklyn. I'm talking about the whole Brooklyn. And the median listed rent is $4,125. Total, all Brooklyn, 4,158 total rental inventory available right now, June 2025. 2,078 new listings. We're talking about hot spots like Greenpoint, parts of Bed-Stuy, Kensington, Flatbush areas. A lot of these things are starting to emerge, get on the market. There's off-market pieces as well, options, and you want to be a part of the mix. You want to find out who has the open ear and the pulse on these properties and these units. 987, almost 1,000 rent drops. 1,000 rent drops. Remember, last year, August, let's do last year. Yeah, last year, August, 3,639. This year, 4,158. Big difference. And from month to month, it just went up a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay? Taken off the market, another one. We can consider these as well, because just because they was taken off the market doesn't mean that they're totally out of the loop. Maybe they had too many days on the market. Maybe went to renovate the property so they can get it back on the market and get another listing price on it, so it can be competitive. What's going on? There's dozens of factors. We will be able to sift through that and find out exactly what's going on, and then if it's something that meets your criteria, your timeline, and all your preferences, we'll be able to contact these people and better negotiations, because nobody wants to have an empty unit that's not being rented out. That's a loss of money. So taking off the market, 649 rented properties, 1,574. Brooklyn is doing it. Now let's go to the one bedrooms. Average listed price basically $4,000, $3,999. The median listed price, $3,950, not too far off. 724 new listings for the one bedrooms. 1,519 total rental inventory for one bedrooms in Brooklyn. All right. The rent drops 427, a little less than 500. Taking off the market 233. Remember, we can always, find these people out, find out why it was taken off the market, and if it still can be in play and can be negotiated upon, it's another option for you. These are the things that you won't see just perusing through the regular websites, for an apartment. This is the hidden stuff. This is the stuff that industry insiders see, and we have that resource available for you. Okay, 583 rented out. Average rent per square foot, $73. Let's go to 2-bedroom. Then I'm gonna go with 3-bedroom with this Brooklyn, just to let you know where it stands. Then we go into our report. The average listed rent, $5,111 as of June 20. Not June 24. No, come on now. June 25th, June 2025, and the median listed rent of June 2025 is $4,792. Just a little bit less. As you see, everything is remaining steady. There's a slight increase over here. 2 bedrooms. Total inventory for 2 bedrooms, $1,483. They are out here, spread out amongst the planet of Brooklyn, as they say. Okay, new listings is 755. Rent drops $278. 278 rent drops, almost 300 units. Taking off the market 244, and $68 per square foot for renting. Let's go with the 3-bedroom. All right, of course the price jumps high, generally increases. And if you can, like, comment, make sure that you are engaged when you check your emails. Just say a word back. Hey, I like your content, or I think you should do better doing this. Maybe I want to cover this. Make sure that you engage and let me know, enlighten me what needs to be done to make this communication better. Okay. Average listed rent for the 3-bedroom, $6,383. So around these prices, you may want to start buying real estate. Look for sales, right? And I can help you with that as well. Let's go into the single family after this. Median listed rent was $5,438. The rental inventory for 3-bedroom is 477, with 257 being new listings, which is great. People out in the field, they're really doing it. The rent dropped 68, only 68. 3 bedrooms in Brooklyn. Taking off the market, 78. Again, negotiable, $65 per square foot on the rent, and 194 have been rented. I just wanted to go into the single family in Brooklyn. Again, $7,000 a month. June 2025. The median listed rent is $6,225. Here we have 4 new listings, 6 rental altogether, 1 rent drop. Okay, and 1 was rented out. So we're talking around 7,000. Everything between 6,225 to 7,000 for a single family. This is just to get you a little bit of a landscape of what's going on and how to better situate yourself between all these numbers. As you see, Brooklyn is a little more pricier than Queens. Queens is more spaced out, but you also have to take in consideration the commutes and the shopping areas and things of that nature. And also the allure that Brooklyn brings in comparison to Queens, the proximity that it has to Manhattan, and just what's available at what time. We'll be able to sit down, talk to you about it. Let us know your preferences. Let us know, what do you want to see for the next 3 to 5 years. Maybe a 1 to 2 year type of person on your leasing. You know what I'm saying? But you want to expand it more if you're going to decide to stay up here. So these things have to be taken into consideration. Let's see if I can go over to the next one. All right. Here we go. I definitely want to get this together. I don't want to get out of there. Here I am. Hope you can see me. There we go. Okay. And I'm just looking for my report. All right, here we go. The Harvard report. Move myself over here. Hope you can see me. The Harvard report warns of a historic housing strain. A staggering 22.6 million renters are now cost burdened, spending over 30% of their income. This is what we're talking about now in New York City and other places. They've come up with this reform. Here was Chiasi with the Fair Act. Okay, Fairness and Apartment Rental Expenses Act, which was basically waiving the brokers fee unless you decide to hire them. And it's not, the landlord hiring a broker for you and you having to pay them. No, but we also seen a 15% increase in rents as many landlords have been quote unquote and allegedly baking those fees into the rent month to month. It's a very intricate system. You can follow the bouncing ball. Make sure you do your Google research, and if you would like to speak more about that, I actually covered it before. It's on the Sunspot Living channel. So let's go a little bit deeper there. With 12.1 million severely burdened, spending more than 50%. I mean, I feel that. I feel that heavily. Let's go into let's see the market report. It's looking pretty good. Here's the actual article. Rising costs, sluggish supply, and policy uncertain have converged to create the most unaffordable housing landscape in decades, according to the Harvard's annual State of the Nation's Housing Report. Affordability is slipping fast. Home prices are up 60% since 2019, that period of time, pushing the U.S. median existing single-family price to $412,500. So basically, gonna have to pay a little bit over $400,000 for an ideal single-family home. It may not be ideal, to tell you the truth. That's 5 times the median household income. That's 5 times the median household income, far above the traditional affordability ratio of 3. Pardon me. Mortgage rates are above 6.7. I said floating between 6.8 to the highest so far in the last couple of months was 7.04. Okay, push the average monthly payments to $2,570 in 2024. This is going to be hard for people that have investment properties, unless you can actually tap into the market that can supply that mortgage on time every month. and consider it for your investment property as a good tenant. Yeah, it's really treacherous out here. Only 6 million of America's 46 million renters earn enough. Only 6 million of the 46 million renters earn enough to afford a median price home. Burdened by rent, while the U.S. added a record 608,000 multifamily units in 2024, rents remain painfully high. A staggering 22.6 million renters are now cost burdened, spending over 30% of income on housing, with 12.1 million severely burdened, spending more than 50%. The hardest hit? Households earning under 75,000, many of whom are now rent burdened for the first time. And here's the chart to go into it. Now, this is where relationships and other working individuals in your house and basically trimming the fat off of expenses and you know just finding out what your true budget is. All of us, we have our issues. We have our issues, and the best way is to get more financially responsible. Go to people that are true leaders. Go to people that have more resources available for you. And really sink in with a plan. And it's gonna be cumbersome for some time. And as you see, making less than $75,000 is going to be nowhere near the 412 without some assistance. You know, so the best we can do is get all this information as possible, come together, talk to people, figure out, the, what the nuances are there other programs and things available to help with this real estate journey of ours. We're all on a journey to move to our best selves. Make sure you use this communication as the keys to open the doors to new opportunities. My name is C. Chambers. If you would like to speak with me about it, my email is in the description. And if I sent you an email, you got that email as well. Look forward to speaking with you and engaging. Spot yourself in the sun where you are and be well.